Okay, so not only is 2017 the year of the folding drone, it's the year of the sort of, looks like it's already crashed exploded drone as well. This is the JJRC Combo X, as you can clearly see, and it features a 120-degree wide-angle lens. They seem to be fitting these on a load more quads, which is really nice because the narrow lenses aren't particularly good, I don't think anyway. It's also called the H38WH, and as you can see, it's sort of got lightning flashes in that it goes together, and that's how the power comes up. I presume that's what they're trying to say. But no, handy little box, good for carrying in, and obviously doesn't come assembled because you just assemble it yourself. And it uses the T-style connectors in there just to connect in, so they're nice and solid connectors, and they're clearly marked B&B, as you can see. And that doesn't mean bed and breakfast either. I think you just get to fly it, you don't get to stay with it overnight. And these clips just sort of pop in on their own. To take it apart, you simply just squeeze them, as you can see, they release and then they pull out. So it's quite a stiff sort of fit in there, which is good. And then when it's in, it actually feels nice and solid, more solid than a lot of quads I've had actually. I think with the joint there, that the way it connects is pretty good. So bung them all in, so B and B, like I say, and A to A, obviously. A little bit different, interesting. I don't expect it will fly any different, to be honest, but nice idea. You can pack it in somewhere a lot smaller for transporting it around. It's got a built-in camera, and obviously you can, as I was saying, with 120 degrees, and as it looks as though it would take a camera in here as well. So if you don't get the one with the camera, you can obviously add a camera in here, and then you've got the camera port there as well, so that's pretty good. It's got sort of extended landing gear, which I'm just not going to bother with. I don't see any sense because everything seems pretty much out the way. The camera's tucked up out the way as well, but if you wanted them on, they simply just pop into there and you get screws to assemble them on. And I might fly it with or without. Let's just see how we go, shall we? Well, yeah, it does look a little bit smarter. It's going to keep it above the ground as well, but the motors and the gears aren't exposed underneath, so if it did come down and just land on these short landing gear, you're not going to get any dust or grass or anything go up into your motor area. So that looks pretty good, and sort of LEDs down the arms and also on the back. We'll have a look at those in a second. If you're new to flying, I really do suggest you use the prop guards, and these are just sort of clip-on ones. Just simply pop them into there and they clip into position. There we go, and they're really nice and solid. They're going to protect it if you come up on your on a ceiling or anything, but these props work well for protection anyway. And then you've got full protection, and it's going to be all the way around. I'm not going to fly like that because I'm just going to fly outside, and reasonably experienced pilot, so I don't think I need them. You can actually use the screws here. Again, they give you them to hold it in position, but it is quite a tight fit, so I really don't think there's any need to hold it in with the screws, but that's down to you. You get a little Phillips screwdriver, and if you need to change the props, you just need to undo the prop and then replace it with exactly the same orientation prop, and you'll notice they go, you can see what way they spin around. Just make sure you replace it with the same one, otherwise you won't be flying. And you get a spare set of props, as you saw there, and the props are really nice and flexible, so shouldn't really do any damage. If you hit anything, they deflect out of the way anyway. You get a 400 milliamp hour, and it's a 2-cell, and it's a 20C, so it's not going to give an awful lot of power, but these things aren't designed for that. It's got brush motor, so it won't take a huge amount of power anyway, but it's just designed as a good starter quad, I would have thought myself. You get a little USB adapter to charge it as well, and I'll see how long that takes and put that in the summary, how long it takes to charge and how long a flight we're going to get out of these. Nice thing about this one, it's got an on-off switch and quite a big battery bay area here, so we are good with that. We can buy some other batteries, and if I can find some for you, I'll put links down in description. I've actually got the power switch on. Make sure you turn that off. The nice thing about having an on-off switch is you can leave the battery plugged in and then just turn it on and off as you need. And there we go, that's a good fit on the battery bay door, and also you've got a screw in there as well. I'm not going to bother with that either. Onto the transmitter, and it's the usual sort of JJRC sort of toy grade one. This one actually comes, I think, with a brilliant piece of paper on it. I've had this on a couple of quads now, absolutely superb. Chinese on one side and then English on the other side, and it just tells you exactly what everything does, which I think is a brilliant, simple technique. And I'll run through all the functions and everything as we get into the flight, but basically this thing is superb. I think it's really nicely laid out. Even tells you down the bottom here how to calibrate the gyros on it. So I'm going to pop that off and I'll actually run through them with you. Now for a change, these ones, I always think these are fake pots. They just, the dials just spin basically, and they're very loose. But these are actually buttons on this one, and you can short press to start the motors and long press to control the lamps. So you just start your motors there, then you're ready to go. You can control the speed here, and you've got 3 rates on this. It starts in low rates, press it again, goes into intermediate, press it again, goes into high rates. And if you hold that down for a couple of seconds, it will then go into return to home mode, so it will start heading back roughly where you took off, and then to cancel that you just use the direction stick here. It's a mode 2 transmitter, so basically this is your throttle, so we press this up and the quad will ascend, press it down, the quad will come down. If you want it to turn, it's called yawing, you push that to the right and it will keep turning to the right till you let go, and if you want it to turn to the left, you simply hold that to the left and it will turn to the left. Onto the right stick, and this is our direction stick, so your forward is forward on the quad, and that's basically where the camera is the front of the quad, so if it's at that angle and I press forward, it will go forward. And then right is going to be roll to the right, and then it's roll to the left, and then pitching backwards as well, so that's the opposite obviously to pitching forwards. You can also fly an unusual angle, so if you put it over at sort of 60 degrees say, it will go at sort of 60 degrees, so this is proportional, it's not just the 4 motions sort of thing. That's in normal mode, and then this one actually has headless mode on it, and that's controlled by this button here. And if you hold this button down for a couple of seconds, it'll beep and then you go into headless mode, and that means now that if we bind it like this, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, everything's facing that way. No matter what angle the quad's at, this stick, that is always forwards, this is always back, and this is to the right and the left, and it doesn't matter whether the quad's even facing towards you, that still wouldn't make any difference in headless mode. If I go right, it will go right from where it's positioned, from where we are here in this position. So some beginners like that, it's not a flight technique I like to use, to be perfectly honest, but I'll show you how it works when we get into it. If you've got the one with the camera that has the onboard storage, so you don't have the Wi-Fi one, and my one's got the Wi-Fi on it, you need a micro SD card into there, and then this is how you control taking still photographs and taking video, but we won't need to do that on mine because, like I say, we've got the Wi-Fi. If you got it drifting around, it's on a very calm still day like we have today, and it's constantly drifting in one direction. No matter how you turn it, it's always going to the right, shall we say. You can alter it with these trim buttons here. You've got this one here and these 2 here, and this button here does nothing at all. So that's, well, I was going to run through that in the flight, but well, it's done now, isn't it? So there we go. So we're all ready to go, and like I say, we've got a Wi-Fi on this one as well, so I'll be using it with the Wi-Fi FPV. And the 2 guides that you get with it, you've got an introduction into the actual using the app, and I've done a video on how to fly using an app, and I'll put a link down in the description for you. And basically we're using a JJRC app here. It's a nice basic app. I actually quite like this one. It does what it's supposed to do. It does what it says on the tin. So you need to load that to your phone, and I'll show you how we start off with that. And then on to the instruction manual itself, and I would call this an instruction manual for the hard of reading or hard of hearing. It's loud. It's basically in your face. It's really big text. I mean, you know, it's huge, but it does actually tell you everything. Having taken a little bit of the mickey out of it there, it really does run through everything clearly, but it just sort of shouts at you, if you can see what I mean. But hey, if you're new to flying, these things are all key, but the text font is massive, but it explains everything in good detail and everything. So actually JJRC are getting better with their manuals. So I'm going to put my phone onto the actual transmitter, and let's get ready for the flight. Okay, this is something I'd left in the box actually. This is actually to hold your mobile phone on, and it's quite quite a good fit actually. It's a nice tight fit on there, and it would take a reasonable size phone, so it wouldn't be a problem at all. I'm going to use it first of all for FPV, so I'm going to actually fly using the transmitter, and then the next flight I'll fly using the actual phone itself and the app. So I'm going to pop the transmitter on first of all, and then on with the actual quad. Now the quad LEDs are strange, they don't come on until you're actually bound. And I think it's actually when you're into flight, but you do get just a little flashing red LED at the back there, and then to bind you go up and down, and then you can see now we've got a solid LED. And like I say, still nothing on the LEDs on the arms. You just get the red one on the back. I quite like having a red one on the back. It is nice and identifiable. So and now I'm going to go into the app itself. So on your phone, go into your Wi-Fi settings. And as you can see, I'm actually already onto this because I actually gave it a quick check inside to make sure it did bind up. But you basically need the JJRC, and then it'll have some numbers on. Connect up to that. There's no internet access. The way the Wi-Fi works on the phones, on this system with the phone and the quad, is the quad sets up a Wi-Fi hotspot, and your phone just picks up that and logs onto that. So you don't need any internet access, and this doesn't use up any of your browsing or anything at all. None of your data. So launch the JJRC app and then connect up, and there we are. Oh, we are live quick there. A little bit of, oh yes, a little tiny bit of delay there. If you're new to this, you'd probably think, well, no, that's fine. But some of the stuff is absolutely instant. It's exactly the same as live, basically. And so the danger with it having a lot of lag, and that's not got a lot of lag, is by the time you see that tree that your quad's just hit, you've already hit it, so you can't take avoiding action. So we're going to start the video here, and the video and the stills are stored back to your phone. They're not stored on the quad itself on this model. If you've got the one that stores on there on the quad, obviously you just press this button and that will store it onto here. But with this one you must start it on here. So we're going to start the video going, and then like I said, this one here, little press and we're away. And then I'll show you, once we get in the air, you actually see the LEDs. So give it some throttle and we're off. And it's got altitude hold, as you can see, so it's just sitting there. There we go. I think there's a tiny bit of breeze on my back, and that's just blowing that, so I haven't calibrated it, but I will show you how to calibrate it. And there we go, you see the LEDs underneath, and they've annoyingly done it white and white, which is really quite infuriating. Yeah, so that's constantly going that way no matter what orientation I've got the quad in, so that's just breeze on my back is just taking it that way. That camera's actually quite nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wow. Yeah, I tell you what, they really are getting good with these cameras. So I'm going to just stop that for a second. Like I say, that's breeze, just getting it there. You can see because it's still going in that direction. Let's just take a still. Doesn't seem to want to take a still, or perhaps it's just not making the noise. Ah, there we go. I'd had the noise turned off on my phone. The alert, sorry. So let's try it again. Hey, ka-chow! We like that. There we go, so we're all the way. That lens is so wide, I've got the arms in, and I've also got the legs in as well down the bottom. So it's quite amazing. Okay, the other thing I didn't show you was it does flips as well. So press this one here. Whee! Oh, it doesn't flip too bad. I've seen worse. So, and again, that breeze is just catching that. So press that, and then you choose what direction you want it to flip in. I'm not a big sort of fan of the flipping, I must admit. I think we'll fly a bit of FPV here. No. I was getting it. That was a bit early in the review. Whatever. I'm just showing how durable it is. My word, that's a durable quad. Look, see? You can hand launch as well. So just start your motors again. Oops. And it's actually, because it's been forced to stop there, it's actually disconnected itself basically from the transmitter, so we need to rebind. As you can see, we've got the flashing LEDs there, so it probably won't let me do anything to oh no, it did. That's good. So it's just a safety feature because the prop was actually forced to stop on the pole there. That's just the way it works. Right then, okay, shall I stop mucking about and just actually do a bit of flying? Okay, so this is in low rates. Nothing anxious, good to learn with. An altitude hold, as I said, so it's just going to hold altitude, don't have to do anything with it. press this button here, beep beep, big one, and now we're into second rates, as you can see, a bit faster to fly, all the controls are a bit more rapid. So that's at full pitch in second rates. We can press it again, and we've got third rates. Now we've got even more rates. Well, it holds it quite well actually. Yeah, nice. And it does move smoothly on the yaw. So some of them are sort of judder when they first start. This one's not too bad. And it can climb when it's actually on full pitch as well, so it's really pretty good. So I'll just show you the difference. So that's on in high rates, that's in low rates, and I was keeping the pitch on full there, and you saw how much it just pulled back. So let's try this headless mode, which is this one here. There we go. So now, no matter what angle it's at, let me just pop the rates up, there we go. So this is backwards, even though the quad's going to its left, that's forward, that's right, and that's left. So it doesn't matter what way it's going, you can keep it going in one direction. It's not something I really like, but it does work, it works fine, you know, if that's how you want to fly. To cancel it, just simply hold that down, there we go. Now we're back onto, I would call, normal flying. That's good. Return to home is this one here. Oh no, that was the lights, wasn't it? Sorry, that's lights on and off. And actually it doesn't. All it does is turn off the little back LED. So I don't quite understand why you would want that, but never mind. This is the return to home one. There we go, and it goes off in that direction. So no particular reason. Like I say, it launched from that table. If I pop it over there, it'll probably pick a different direction. So yeah, it's now coming sort of back to us, but and to cancel it, like I say, just use the direction stick. But that is a nice, I like the camera, and it's a nice little flyer actually. Let's just see if we can do a bit better on the FPV. I think it's like reasonable lines of sight, so I don't actually need to do it with FPV, I don't find. But it's nice having it. If you want to line up a shot or anything, you can. Look at that. That is a lovely wide angle lens. Really nice. Let's just take a still there and put the video back on. Yeah, and it's nicely angled down, I think. Yeah, quite nicely done. I'll just give it a quick range test, and then I'm going to pop the, I'm going to fly it with the app. Yeah, that flight's been pretty long actually. So I know from here, if I fly down to the end of my garden, that'll be about 80 metres. Let's just see how we get on. And also the FPV will not last for 80 metres, pretty sure about that. That's about 60. Yeah, oh no. Oh yeah, just frozen up on the FPV. We're over 80 metres now. That is definitely over 80 metres. Hey, very good. Yeah, that's fine, I'd say. Probably does about 100 metres if you wanted. But 80 is what I tested in the garden, so that works fine. I mean, any further than that, you're not going to have the FPV. The LEDs aren't particularly great, so I can't see why or how you're going to fly that far away, to be perfectly honest. And of course, you could take your phone off, put it into a set of goggles, VR goggles, and you could do that. A nice little precise flyer. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna stop that. Oh, we've got to bring it into land, you just simply take the throttle off like this, and you can land it, and you could hand land it. Once it's come down, it's stopped descending, the motors will kill. Okay, so I'm going to swap over now to the actual phone. So all I'm going to do here is just turn the transmitter off. And then on the phone we're still connected up, but you could do this without the actual transmitter, so you would just bind up as I showed you earlier with this. I'm going to stop that video and I'm going to start it yet again. There we go. And then if we turn the controls off, because as you can see we've got a flashing LED at the back there, pop that on, now the LED's gone solid. So though we were bound for looking through the camera, we weren't actually bound to fly. Now we've got the controls here, we can actually fly it. Like I say, I've done a video on how to fly using an app, and it's basically this app. This is a nice little basic app. Where I was mentioning about wearing VR goggles, you need to press this one to do that. You've got your headless mode here, and you can calibrate the gyros here. So let's put this on somewhere flat to start with. The table's nice and flat, and then this is the same as if you pulled these two sticks down and to the left on the transmitter. Simply press that one, you get a flashing LED, don't move it while it's doing it, and now the gyros are nice and level, so it should fly nicely. That breeze is still very slight in the garden, which will catch it. So flick the altitude hold on, and then we've got the auto takeoff here. There we go, so it just starts the motors actually. And then we're up and away and we're flying. There we go. So low rates is usually pretty low on when it is low on apps usually. That's full pitch, as you can see. Whoa. That breeze is picking up quite a bit. Whoa, whoa. Wait, that recovered all right. There we go. So I'm going to pop the rates up. You simply do that here, and now this is into intermediate rates or second rates. So 60% of its power, and if I pop it up again we get high rates, which actually, yeah, is pretty good. They're doing better on the apps. They used to be really slow on the apps, but they're now getting a lot better with it. Yeah, so there you go. So now you can do your selfies and things up there. On the app, the feel for the actual yaw is it suddenly takes off. It's very difficult to get it to do. Yeah, you can do it a bit more gentle, but the actual controls on the transmitter are better, I would say. I'm going to bring that down, and the sticks are the same control, so you've got the yawing and the stick controls are exactly the same. Also on here you've actually got this thing here, which I don't like because I'm just going to hit the tree. It's basically a mission control thing. Whoa, there you go, I told you. I should have taken that back. Yeah, it's a full test. Right, so it's one of the things I don't like about this is you've got to get it back off it really quick if you want to take it in control, or use it in a big open area, I suppose. So let me put that back on. Start the motors. Again we're flashing that we're not bound. Let's turn that back on. There we go, so we're all back on again. We've still got some battery left as well, which I'm amazed at. This is doing really well. So we're going to start the motors again. Start the video again. And then, I don't think, no, that just kills the motors. I wondered whether it had an auto takeoff on there. There we go. So if you've had a crash or anything and you've had to restart anything, it will come back into low rates. And as you can see, I wonder if that's just drifting. No, it's just a breeze. I was going to say, that can upset the gyros, even if you have just a slight knock like that. So let me show you this this mission planner thing, which I'm never overly thrilled about. So there we go. So if I do that with it, it will show you around. Whoa, you can see it sort of doing it. Bring it back towards me. I'm going to take that off. Fed up with that already. There we go. And you can alter any of the settings as you're actually flying as well, so it's rather nice. So there is just a nice little recovery you can do with it. You can kill the motors and this will do it instantly. Bonk. There we go. As soon as I touch that, it will just stop them. And again, we've gone on to a flashing LED. It seems to have a thing that when it's actually shut off, you almost need to reboot the quad. Which seems a bit strange, I must admit, but never mind. Just the way it works. And now we're going to have to rebind on here, reconnect on here, because it won't automatically reconnect because it doesn't on mine. I don't know why. It might well do on your phone. It certainly doesn't on mine one. There we go. So we're back live again. And then as soon as I flick those on, we go back onto solid. And again, you get that warning up that there's no internet access. Let me show you There we go, up again. And you can flip it with this as well, so press that and then choose what direction you want to flip in. There we go. Not the best flipper in the world, I must admit, but it's not bad. Yeah, it doesn't seem to... Ah, we've got flashing LEDs, so it does flip. There we go. And I haven't touched anything, it just comes into land. It won't come back to you to land, it will just land wherever it is. So. That's pretty good, actually.
Okay, so what do I think of it? Well, to be perfectly honest, as you probably guessed already, pretty impressed with it actually. Let's go through the transmitter first of all. It's their normal JJRC sort of toy grade transmitter. It's comfortable, you've got the grips around the back here, it's lightweight, it just needs 4 AA batteries that don't come with the kit, and the actual controls work fine. You get beeps and clicks off these transmitters, which I like. I mean, there's nice ones that have very soft touch, but you don't actually know that you've activated anything. With this, you definitely do. And as you saw, when and as I was saying when I was flying, when you use just a little bit of yaw on some of the toy grade ones, they don't do anything for ages, they suddenly pitch round, then you can control it smoothly. This one you could actually control smooth from the outset, so if you were careful with the controls you could really do it nicely. So you could do some sort of reasonable videoing with it, or just learn to fly smoothly, which I actually think is really nice. I like sort of smooth and controlled flight, as well as going mad and daft with it as well. Just wish they had marked them on the actual transmitter, but I can see their point. With a piece of card they can have the buttons do different functions on different ones, so that makes sense in a manufacturer's point of view. In a user's point of view, I wish they had marked them, because if you're new to flying there's a lot of confusing buttons here that you don't know what's going to do what. So but the buttons do work, and the thing I like about these, they make a noise, so you actually know you've activated something. Some of the soft touch ones, you press them, you don't know if it's actually done anything, so I quite like that. And the controls worked fine. You know, it is what it is, but it's really good. You know, I was flying quite happily with it. Now you see the night flight had the legs off, and I was just having a blast around the garden. Really good fun. And as I said before, the motor housings don't have any vents in, and most of them do, and the fact of not having them in means you can use these as landing gear, which is what they're designed for, just short landing gear when you haven't got an extra camera on or anything else, and you're not really in very long grass. You wouldn't want the props catching in the long grass, but no dust or anything's going to get into your motors or your gears is probably more important. So I like that design. LEDs, a bit weird. The fact that they're all white I thought was rather strange. All I had to do was change the bulbs in the LEDs, or even as other manufacturers change the actual plastic, the translucent sort of plastic, so that would have been another option. But you do have the red tail light, I quite like that. When I was doing the night flight I was using this for orientation, no problem at all. Absolute doddle with it. And it is quite bright, and the fact that it flashes when you're binding and everything is good. I like that. The camera I thought was pretty good actually. I wasn't really expecting much from it, and I don't know why. Didn't appear to be a lot of jello on it, well I didn't actually notice any, and it's 720p. The quality isn't the best in the world. You've got sort of artifacts come in, and it also breaks up a bit, but that's just purely, you know, at this level of quad. It's not £1,000 quad, so basically what would you expect? The strip down for transporting is, that's still, even though I've taken this apart a few times, it's still quite sticky sort of thing, tight to get in and out, which I like, because that means it's not going to fall apart after you've had it a couple of weeks and taken it apart a few times. And the nice thing is, once you pack all these away, you could get them into a really small rucksack or something or other, or a bag to carry it around. You don't need the transmitter because the actual app is really good from JJRC now. I'm quite impressed with that. So you could just carry this in bits in a little bag, and then your phone as well, and you could fly and record and do your stills and everything. Pretty good, I thought. So all in all, I really like it. For what it's aimed at, I think it's a really nice quad. I had several flights over 12 minutes long, so pretty impressive from that little battery. Battery's all charged, I'm off out to fly again.